So, what am I doing here? This is the Sunny King Criterium, the Alabama Cycling Classic. I'll go ahead and start the video. This is young friend William right here. We got Thomas Gibbons next to him on the line. So this is a race that happened last weekend. This is a pro race in America. This race has been on. Oh, there's Sarah Walker. She's on shift racing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm doing an easy spin. I got Trainer Road on my phone right here. I'm going to watch along with this crit and just break it down, do some analysis. This is a great race. It's been going on for 20-ish years, maybe more than that. I feel like it's getting a little lost in the shuffle this year because it normally happens earlier in the season. It's happening during the Tour de France. But I think it's a good storyline to follow for the American pro crit scene. And also, this is the Pro 1 race. I did the 2-3 race right before this. And also, a lot of these guys that are in this race, when I do Pro 1-2 races, I'm racing with those guys. So I feel like I got some unique context there. So William that I pointed out, you've seen him in some of my other videos. We've also got Nashville Local Cycling taking the front right here. I raced with TJ and a couple of their other guys. TJ's definitely in this race. There's TJ. I raced with him last weekend in Dalton, Georgia. Project Echelon's got a squad here. Best Buddies is here. We've also got Ty Magner from Legion is in the field. I think he's the only Legion rider. But what's up, Tom? Welcome. Welcome to Alabama. Yo, what's up, Garza? So this is Sunny King. There's Ty. Speak of the devil. Ty is second wheel right there. So Ty actually used to be teammates with my teammate Hunter. They were roommates in college. We got William there in the orange helmet in the middle of the field. We got Davey Dawson from Automatic in the orange kit, black helmet. So I think I can bring a little context to this rewatch. That barricade that was pushed out a little bit there, when you're looking straight down the line and it bows out, someone in my race hit the barricade on lap 2. That'll be in my breakdown. So also, this is the pro race. Okay, I'm going to skip through all this analysis of the women's race, although women's race also great. So let me know if the stream audio is too loud for the stream we're watching. So this is the pro race. I was here for the beginning of this. I'm also doing a breakdown of my race, which is going to be more of a focus, like not a live stream. I'm going to edit that down, multiple camera angles. So this race is one of the only ones. It's really only these top level races. Yes, Rob, it was hot. It's always hot. Actually, I think it was like 85 Fahrenheit when I raced, which is one of the colder Sunny Kings I've had, if that tells you anything. I think I've done this race 4 times, 5 times. Let's skip a little bit. We're with the winner of the women's race there.
And here I am, doing sprints, all the workouts, and I can walk on it. Everything's perfectly fine.
So
fast healing, which is really good.
Only these big national level races, and this one is on the Pro Road Tour, but not the USA Crits calendar this year. But only these big national level races separate out the Pro 1 field from my field and do a 2-3 race. So I raced probably about an hour and a half before these guys went off, and I love these races where they separate them out because, like, Thomas Gibbons from Automatic, he shows up to races in the Southeast regularly. We got right there in the yellow, I believe that's Eric Tompkins, pro cyclocross racer. I want to say that's his name. I think I'm getting that right. Best Buddies guys out of Florida. Sometimes you get those guys at Southeastern races, and basically, like, I am one level I'm one level below those guys. I definitely don't need to be racing them on the reg. So these races where they separate out the pros and then the Cat 2s, that's like my sweet spot. And I won't spoil how my race went, but I did have a good race, especially given this course. Not a great course for me. So start finish right here is about a 3% uphill, classic 4-corner crit. It's 3 blocks this direction, then you hit turn 1 right here, 1 block this way, 1 block between turn 1 and turn 2, and then it's 3% downhill on the other side, 3 blocks, and flat again between 3 and 4. So this course is pretty wide the whole time also. You can see, hey, there's orange helmet. That is William, who you've seen in some of my Tuesday Worlds videos. William is the young protege of Birmingham for sure. He's a junior kid looking for a ride, ripping recently. So we got Gateway Devo here also with the kits with the checkers on the shoulders. That's Gateway Devo. That rainbow fade is Project Echelon. Just trying to call out who all we got. I think I saw one Hot Tubes development rider in there too, in a mostly blue kit. Frank Travieso, right? We'll see him come by. Right there, black kit. Frank is a legend of crit racing for sure. He's out of Athens, Georgia. So you get all the Southeast hitters for this race, but also some of the national level guys. It's always a good mix. I believe this pro race is an hour and a half. You can kind of tell from this camera angle that this is, yeah. What's up, Murphy? Yeah, William got a call up. So I started this video with the freeze frame of William's face on the front row, like, oh. William had some early season success this year, so I think he's sitting on some USA cycling points. And this is not part of the USA Crit Series. It is part of the Pro Road Tour, which is confusing, but a lot of these teams are also doing USA Crits. And with USA Crits Boise coming this weekend, I wanted to put a little bit of a spotlight, put a little shine on this race. So I say this is a bad course for me because it's so wide the whole time and so flat out that it ends up being a drag race. And so the wind is coming this direction. It was basically a headwind on that. That's the section from now we're on turn 3, and then we'll be on 4. It was sort of a tailwind going up the climb, headwind going down, but as the sun started getting lower, it shifted to being a crosswind from this way to this way. Whoop, they flipped the camera on me. Yeah, Murphy, it kind of sucks that the 2 races, Birmingham Hammerfest that Murphy's talking about is the USA Crits race in Birmingham. For those of you all that don't know, I'm in Alabama. This is in Anniston, Alabama. So this is kind of the close local big race. Hammerfest is in town. Both of these are like 4-corner NASCAR races, just ripping fast the whole time, which, especially with a crosswind, really puts a hurt on a small guy like me. And during my race, it kind of switched from being headwind on the downhill, tailwind on the uphill, to being a crosswind, which I'm assuming it's kind of coming crosswind right here. Hot Tubes kid making a move there. So you normally don't see brakes stick much on this course, but I think because of the wind, there were a lot of brakes going and sticking. You can see Ty in the Legion jersey setting that up, turn up wide. And that is, if I have any sort of like local knowledge to share about this course, it is that turns 3 and 4, the way to go is to just set them up super wide. Because someone is going to dive to that inside. It's someone who dives it inside. The farther back you are, the higher chance there is that someone in front of you is going to touch brakes. Probably less so in this pro race, but for sure in the amateur races. And if you're behind that guy that pushes brakes, it's much better to take the longer line on the outside, preserve your speed, especially coming into this hill. It's amazing how it doesn't look like much of a hill here, but especially this that they're on right now, right before turn 1, and that's turn 1. It's 3% right there. And it's funny, at the top of the hill, oh, that's Artem Schmidt. Okay. Yeah, Artem is a beast. Artem, I want to say he pulled something off at U23 Nationals. I'm not sure if anybody, Murphy might know, if you're still in the chat, Murphy. But yeah, Artem is definitely a beast. Project Echelon setting pace here. I'm not sure who all they got. CS Velo is back there too in the white and pink kits. They famously had Sean Gardner, who did the Everesting record. He's on CS Velo. I don't think he's out there for them in this race, but he's on that squad. That's just some context around who they are, how good they are. So Ty Magner in the Legion kit right there. He won this race, I want to say in 2015. He was on UHC, and he is an absolute ripper for sure. That was when UHC was really, that's the United Healthcare team, was really dominating all the crits. They had a super strong squad back then, and they basically were the predecessor to what Legion is doing now in terms of setting up a real sprint train, taking the front with several laps to go, and just making the pace so high that no one could come around. Cool. Yeah, Tom, that's why I wanted to do this. I was hoping that, I mean, A, because I was here, B, because I raced it, and C, because I raced with some of these guys, I can, like, add a little bit. Murphy, here's what's happening. There was no racing for the beginning of the summer, and now all the races are right now. Every race is happening now. We got Alabama State time trials this coming weekend. I'm not sure what's after that. Boise is also this weekend on the, like, pro level scene. Things are happening, and it's all happening, like, between now and September. Every race. So Best Buddies, obviously one of the strongest teams here. They are, you know, Crit Beef. I hope everyone is aware of the hashtag Crit Beef with them and Legion. Tom, I think I'm probably going to do the TT. So it's the same time trial that I did, if you were following my YouTube channel last year, that I did during COVID, like one of the only races I did during COVID, because time trial, it's pretty easy to be socially distanced. So I kind of want to show up and do the 40K Mercs again, less to, like, contest for the state. I'm a terrible time trialist, and more just to test myself against myself. Yeah, Tom, I think that was one of the first ones I made. Speaking of which, I'm going to have a really good IRL video from this race, because there's a stream of this quality from my race, plus my GoPro footage. I'm going to edit all that together. Got a couple other perspectives. Had 4 teammates in the race. We had a really good race at this. Super fun. I love these big races where the pros have their own race and the Cat 2s have their own race, because it puts me, like, I'm racing guys that are about my level. It's like other guys who are very serious but not pros, and, you know, other guys that train 12 hours a week, basically. Like, we all have to go to work tomorrow, but we're all ripping. Oh, I should also say, as they go through the start-finish, if you look on the rider's right, yeah, right there where all those people are, there is a street festival that happens in downtown Anniston that goes on that street that T-bones into the race, where there are, like, food vendors, Ferris wheels, paintball. So, like, the whole town of Anniston is out here. There's a Jumbotron, Frankie Andreu on the call, Brad Soner on the live stream. Like, it's just like a sick production. Like, right here, under that turn 1 camera shot, they set up bleachers. There's people in the bleachers eating corn dogs and everything. Like, just being out there is, this is a really high level event, and it always rules. So I wanted to talk about it as much as possible, just to, like, put some shine on it. Murphy, I'm buying a house too. Why are we both buying houses at such a dumb time? For everybody on the stream, that's part of why I've been so quiet. I've been trying to get all this racing done, a little bit of training done, and I actually had a home inspection today. So we got some guys panicking here trying to get up to Hernandez. They realize he is a powerhouse. It's a little bit early, but they're going for it anyway. I'm not recognizing any of those guys unless one of them was Clever Martinez with the big hair. I thought I saw, it's not the kit he normally wears, but I thought I saw him. This field is already getting shredded down. I want to say these guys did like 29 miles an hour around this course for the full race. Yeah, that looks like Clever Martinez hair. It just doesn't look like his normal skin suit. That might be somebody else. We'll see if they'll give us a graphic or something. Yeah, it sounds like I just heard from the original stream him also wondering if that was Clever Martinez. Crazy move from Hernandez going with the long sleeve skin suit. I mean, I guess maybe it was cooling off by this point, but like I said to Rob early, this is a hot race. It's always hot at Sunny King. Murphy, have you done Sunny King? You might be able to. Yeah, I think we're all panic buying, Murphy. I mean, for me, it was also the house thing was like, I kept saying if I make it through the pandemic and I still have a job, and I think, you know, fingers crossed we're there. So I forget this dude's name in the white and blue kit, but he's a freak of nature. I've raced with him a bunch. They are all back together, and looks like we got an attack. Nope, it's stuck immediately. This is the place to go, though, is like between the start finish and turn 1, right here. This is where you get separation. My God, Artem going again. Artem is killing it. Oh yeah, Tom, this thing is basically a NASCAR race. What I will say in the amateur races, turn 3, so it's downhill, and then that's kind of the tightest turn on the course. It tends to stack up a little bit into turn 3. So my strategy right here is to basically stay where Artem is on the outside and take turn 3 all the way outside, barely pedal between 3 and 4, carry that speed from 4 into the uphill. It looks like Artem knows what he's doing. I saw him coast for a second there. If you're going to get any rest, this is the place to do it. Best buddies sort of reforming at the back. I think Automatic only had 2 or 3 guys in this race, which I think Thomas Gibbons, who's the Automatic sprinter, he won the 2019 USA Crits overall right there. He orange kit, black helmet, yellow gloves. I would say he's probably one of the only sprinters that's going to have a chance of contesting Justin Williams this season. He was out of Athens for a while there. I think he may have moved somewhere back in the Northeast, but so there was a time when like every Pro 1 race I would go to, Pro 1-2 race I would go to, he was there. And I don't think I ever beat him. But you basically knew, like, you can't leave it to a field sprint, because if you do, he's going to get it. So you got to do something else. Artem is a time trial monster, but I don't know if going solo right here is the move, my man. I think he probably wanted somebody else to go with him, and just nobody took the bait.
If he remembers it feeling like this.
Yeah,
when he used to race.
Murphy, it is a big boy crit. That's that's accurate. There's so much prestige to it, I think, because it's been on the calendar for so long. I think the field quality, like in my 2-3 race, we had guys from all over the country, Ohio, all over the place, who came for this race, and I think, especially in the Cat 2, it's because like this is a place where you can win that race and get seen by a bigger team. If you're a junior or if you're, looking for a contract. It's interesting to me on that one, those guys, so there's no barriers right or right between turns 3 and 4. And it's interesting to me that none of these guys are actually taking advantage of that and pushing out. There's also no curb. So you can basically ride on the sidewalk and set that turn up a little wider. It's interesting to me that none of those guys are kind of pulling out rider right and riding on the sidewalk. It is unreal that Artem has been solo away from this field for this long. The wind between, this is turn 1, here between turns 1 and turns 2, it was kind of a headwind all through there, and then crosswind from the rider's right shoulder on this downhill section. I think that's what caused such big splits. Yeah, Artem just sitting up there. He sees the field coming back to him. I think what he was hoping to do was dangle out there and have 1 or 2 riders jump up to him, form a move. Yeah, no, that's also part of what I meant, Murphy, is big boy in terms of like large rider. The crosswind and the fact that it's just flat out the whole time. Like none of these corners, if you're good at riding your bike, you don't have to brake on this course. If you're braking, either you did something wrong or someone in front of you did something wrong. Like right there where the barriers bow out, the guy in my race who, I don't know what he did. It'll be in my breakdown video from my race, but come around that corner, like second lap, I guess, there was just a dude like tangled in the barricades. And it was the guy who did the lead out for Lightspeed BMW the week before. Well, Tom, Legion just has Ty, but Ty has won this race before. So Ty is the guy who, second day of Tulsa, he was doing the lead out when his lead out was so strong that Justin lost the wheel. So Corey sprinted. Justin sat up, got back on another train, and then won the sprint from that train. But that was the day. A lot of people were saying that Justin did the Saturn sit-up, which maybe he did. I mean, that would also be a genius tactic. If everyone is looking at Justin, you put Justin on the back of the train and then have him sit up, and that moment of hesitation just like screws with everyone's head.
Yeah, it's always a race of who can just coast.
Yeah, I wonder what's up with Brick Dangerblade. He was big boy on automatic orange jerseys here 2 seasons ago. I don't know if I've seen him racing. That's Gibbons in the orange right above my head. He's their sprinter, but Brick was his sort of right-hand man the year that they won the USA Crits overall. Best Buddies is planning there. Wild that Hernandez is running the long sleeves. Every time I see that, I'm like, I can't believe it. Insane. Yeah, Tom, I watched it back too, and I really think that Ty went so hard, he ripped it apart. Like I think he went rather than ramping his effort up, Ty went from 0 to 60 and like legitimately just pulled the field apart a little bit. Is what I think. Ooh, Gibbons. So Gibbons is a sprinter, but he's making a move here, taking a little look off the front. If you guys haven't watched Gibbons' videos, over on the Wide Angle Podium YouTube channel, he's been filming some videos from these races, and then the Wide Angle Podium guys have been breaking them down with him. Really good stuff. William's still in there, third from the back. Yeah, so that is yellow kit there. Maybe Murphy can confirm. I want to say his name is Eric Tompkins. He's a North Carolina guy. You've probably seen him at races, Murphy. Cyclocross racer. I think maybe even on a cyclocross bike. That might be his specialized crux there, but this might not be a bad course for him because he is a watt monster. And it does have this hill, although the fact that it was sort of a cross tailwind this year meant that for a smaller rider, kind of took the advantage out of the hill. The wind was kind of pushing everyone up the hill, and then the heavier guys are going to go down the hill faster, so into the wind. Artem going again. Artem is just like, so he's sort of having the opposite problem of what the big names have. So Artem keeps going off the front, and I don't think any of these guys know who he is. Super strong junior, maybe even national champion at a time trial, U23, or he's a name for sure. But I don't think any of these guys know. So when Artem goes off the front, nobody goes with him. They just let him go solo, which is not what he wants. I think he's trying to draw out a couple of guys to go with him, get a little group going, start rotating turns, but that doesn't happen. But if you're like Hernandez on Best Buddies right here, he goes off the front. Everybody wants that wheel. Everybody wants to go with him. So then he can't actually get any daylight because everybody bridges up to him and welds it back together. This turn, the apex of that turn is interesting because most years that barricade is actually back a little bit, the inside barricade, and there's a big grate right at the apex. And almost every lap, you would hear someone ka-thunk, ka-thunk through that on the inside. Super sketchy. Yes, Eric Thompson. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Murphy. I think that is just his crossbite, which would be wild. I would not have wanted to do this race with a chainring any smaller than a 52. And that was in a race that was going 1 to 2 miles per hour slower than this. Looks like the Nashville local cycling guys are holding their own pretty well. Yeah, so that's his sponsor, right? It's like Molten Chain Wax or something like that. Ty is just sitting fifth wheel all day. You can see him in the Legion kit. Middle of the screen, kind of poking his head out right there. He's got national champ bands on one arm. Murphy, do you know what Ty was national champ of? I'm not actually sure. So I want to say these white kits with the fade to blue. This is First Internet Bank. They are also a USA Crits D1 team. And someone to watch here. It's interesting how Project Echelon is racing. They seem to have the numbers. I don't think this is necessarily their... yeah, you're right, Murphy. Looking at it head on, that's for sure a crossbike. Yeah, Project Echelon's got the numbers. They haven't really been just like sending people up the road, or they're kind of almost playing the role that Legion has been playing, like sitting toward the front and setting pace, not letting it get too slow. But they haven't been sitting the whole train up there. Hey, there's William. Orange helmet, fourth from the back. The young buck out of Birmingham, hanging in the pro race. That's awesome. I actually rode with William last night. William and I did a very crazy group ride. And me and Zach kind of pipped him in the sprint a little bit. Sorry, William. I'm sure William would come back with, well, I did the pro race on Saturday, and you did the baby 2-3 race, which is accurate. Ooh, Ty in the break. Told y'all Ty was one to watch. He's won this race before. He's got the legs. He's on Legion. He's kind of, Ty Magner is the powerhouse of the cell that is Legion, so to speak. He is one of those unsung lead-out guys. Like if you've watched Kerry Werner's video from the Crybaby Hill Day, where Kerry is like 10th wheel and loses the wheel when Legion starts the lead-out, that's Ty. Ty is one of the ones who's making it so damn fast through there. He knows what he's doing, getting real small and real tucked in on that stretch between turn 1 and turn 2 here. Because that was the worst headwind on the course on this day. I bet he'll kind of, shift over to one side there because of the crosswind on the downhill. Yeah, Murphy, it looks like he has national champ bands. Maybe it was like a collegiate national championship or something. See what I'm saying right there? On his right, our left. Those look like national champ bands. I don't know what he was national champ of. It's also amazing in real life. seeing guys like Ty compared to me. Those guys are just absolutely massive compared to me. That's the sketchy turn 4. Where they just went by was where I had my tent, my gear set up. There's that building right there where all those people are. That's like, I guess they rent that out every year, and there's like just people spilling out, getting drunk, screaming at us. Super fun time. Wow, this race is in ribbons. All the major teams are trying to get someone up to this move. Best Buddies, Echelon, Legion, First Internet. So behind, I would imagine Nashville Local is scrambling. Who else is back there with numbers? That might be it. Let's see who's driving the pace, see if they tell us. Is that Clever Martinez with the hair there? I want to say, I'm not sure who that is. But Clever, I'll skip through this analysis part as much as I love Brad Stoner. What's up, Brad?
So much has gone into this. We were here at 5:30 this morning. I know everyone was working really hard. And
yep, Nashville Local driving the chase there. Nashville guy in the red helmet. Hot tubes going off the front with the counterattack right when that move got caught. This race was so fast the whole time. That's what I love about this race is like, there's like no negative racing. It's just on the whole time. Once again, I love you, Brad. Going back to the racing. Hugo Sakala Jr. from Gateway Devo. So Gateway is a great Devo program. What's up? Yeah. Luke Aitenroyd's in the chat there, has done this race before. So Luke, I don't want to spoil my race, but I was very close to that move. What's up, Spoon? Welcome, welcome. So for everybody just joining us, this is Sonny King. This is the big crit in Alabama. This is the Pro 1 race. I did the 2-3 race right before this. But I raced with a lot of these guys, and I raced this course last weekend. I'm going to have a breakdown of my race later. I'm really like editing that. Going to use some of this nice stream footage with my GoPro footage. Chop that all up. Have some good takeaways for you. But figured it would be worth something to watch this race and add some analysis because I've got a little bit of extra context. Yeah, that'll be on YouTube. Slow Spoon. That will be on YouTube for sure. That's kind of what I'm trying to do is more of the live stuff going on Twitch and the more like curated thought out content is going on YouTube. Huh. All right, Murphy. Murphy's talking about Ty Magner from Legion. We're trying to figure out what his national champ bands are. So he's the only Legion rider in this field. Nice. Okay. Elite Crit Nationals. So that's like amateur Crit Nats. That's what Justin won, but 2 years before Justin won it. 1 or 2 years. Oh, is this TJ? I think this is TJ Killalea going across. I've got a video from Dalton, Georgia, where the guy in the red helmet who just tried to go across, he won. I sprinted off his wheel. For sure, Murphy. I love a Twilight crit, partially because I hate waking up early. Actually, crazy full circle. This was my first crit. Sonny King, I believe 2014, 15, something like that, was my first crit ever. And I'd already been racing cyclocross. So because I was a 3 in cross, I could cat up for road. And I catted up from 5 to 4 before my first ever crit, because the Cat 5 race was at like 7 a.m. and the Cat 4 was at like 9. So rather than a 5 a.m. wake up, get up a little bit later. That's one of the advantages of being a Cat 2. So on this day, my race was at 4 p.m. and I slept until 9, chilled out, ate some lunch, got here, did a few laps, chilled with the boys, warmed up. Super nice. Yeah, exactly, Murphy. So this is very Zwift-esque, actually. It's really hard the whole time. 45 minutes long. 4 o'clock in the afternoon. This is the most in line with Zwift. Although I will say, looking at my file, I did a lot more coasting. Wow, does TJ make it up to this move? Have they said? So I'm listening to the audio in my headphones, but you know, I'm only half paying attention to what Stoner is saying as I'm talking myself. But yeah, TJ in the red, who's dangling between these two groups, red helmet, Nashville Local Cycling. He I think he's gonna get there, but he lapped the field in my race in Dalton, Georgia, the weekend before. Huh. So Best Buddies is chasing, even though they have someone in the move. That seems weird that they would be worried about Nashville making it. I don't know. It seems like they're bringing back a move that they have a guy in. Maybe they're just trying to keep it in check. Maybe Hernandez is... So Hernandez is in the long sleeves. I'm not sure who the Best Buddies rider in the short sleeves is. Yeah, they're checking back, and they... Looks like they're realizing they may be caught there. Okay, that's Ruben Campagnoni in the break there.
I'm gonna think maybe they didn't like the numbers.
Yeah, and it looks like Nashville made it.
Here it is back. At least you've
Wow, that race is ripped apart. I don't know if I can like quite express how hard this race is when it's fully lined up like that. You've got crosswind on these longer sections. You're going 29 miles an hour up this 3% hill, and there's gaps like that in the field, like 4 or 5 bike lengths gaps. Just incredibly hard. So hard. William chasing back on. Get in there, William. Luke, you've done this race before, right? Like the pro race. First Internet Bank getting super aggressive. So First Internet Bank and Nashville Local Cycling are both USA Crits teams that have kind of gotten lost in the shuffle a little bit in terms of the national narrative. Not that I think they're going to be up there with Legion. Same with CS Velo, but that I just think they're there. I think it's important to call out like they are in those races. They are fighting for it. And First Internet Bank has been very aggressive in this race.
And there's the ones and twos back there that are just hiding and hoping that it comes back together.
Ooh, little squirrely there. A lot of years, so that was turn 3 that they just came in. I have been literally riding over the feet of those barriers so that I can set it up really wide on the right through turn 3, carry a little bit more speed. No, they still haven't fixed that barrier. Where it bows out there is where someone in my race crashed into it. Murphy, I'm with you. So I did Dalton the week before this, and I don't know if you've done the Dalton crit, but it basically has a chicane going up a 10% hill, a chicane into a 10% hill down with a 90-degree turn out. And it really races more like a cross race because there's a couple of sections where you really can't pedal your bike because of how fast it is, because of how technical it is, how tight the turns are. But you have to be really good at handling. You really have to be on top of it in terms of taking the corners fast, making sure you're not scrubbing any speed you don't need to. And the efforts are really short and sharp. And yeah, I believe TJ, red helmet here, was in the breakaway in that Dalton race the week before this. Yeah, that's TJ. So I got another video with him in it coming soon. Although my GoPro crapped out halfway through, so I think what I'm going to do with that one is do some comparison of that race start to a Zwift race start, because I think it's kind of interesting. My normalized power was insane there. But yeah, Murphy, who's in the chat here, is a similar type of rider to me. Smaller guy, punchier guy. Got Davey Dawson from Automatic on the front there. Pushing the pace. There's Gibbons. Yep, I think Brad just called him out too. So I think Gibbons has also, really, you want to talk about people who have been lost in the shuffle of the crit beef narrative. Thomas Gibbons and Automatic. So Automatic definitely doesn't have the kind of budget that Legion has, or even probably best buddies. I mean, Automatic is like truly, Thomas is the star, and then he's oh hey, this is some of Thomas's footage. Go check this out. I'm gonna skip through and get back to the race, but that was from the Wide Angle Podium YouTube channel, and that was Thomas's footage. Woo, 3 is spicy. You saw the best buddies rider on the inside there, leaning it over. So I'm surprised they're not on that sidewalk there, because you can set up this turn from that sidewalk, carry a little more speed, a little bit easier, straighten that line out, and the straighter you hit it, the more speed you can carry into this 3% uphill. So it's flat basically until that crosswalk. It's like 1% up. Once you hit the crosswalk, it's like 3% to the line, flattens out at this crosswalk at the line, and then it's 3% again to the turn. And generally, right here where these guys are, into turn 1, if you're in a big group, someone at the front was smashing all the way up that hill, they'll start to sit up a little bit, and you can sneak around. Yeah, that is Timothy J. Kilalea. I'm always saying his name wrong. I'm sorry, TJ. I've raced with him a bunch. But, yeah, I raced with him in Dalton, Georgia the week before. I had a real good sprint off his wheel that put me on the wide angle podium. I got a little bit of good footage from that race. I'm still getting the outside race footage thing down. Yeah, Spoon. So, I mean, you guys all know how strong I am. You've seen me race Zwift. You see my numbers all the time. This race, I would be lucky to finish mid-pack. Like I raced with TJ the week before, but I know that TJ has got me outgunned, you know. I have to race the race that way. Same thing with the rest of these guys. I think I've done a cross race with Ty Magner before where he beat me on a full suspension mountain bike with flat pedals. Murphy was probably there. Ty lives in Georgia and does a lot of the Georgia cross races. So we get to see him be an absolute powerhouse all the time. But yeah, I would say like most of the guys in this field are probably closing in on 5 watts per kilo FTP, but they're also way bigger than me. So that raw wattage, rather than like 300 watt FTP where I am, they're, 10 kilograms heavier, and their raw watt FTP is like 375 or something. And on a course like this where it's like, it's wide open and it's kind of a drag strip the whole time, 375 goes faster than 300. That just is what it is, And some of these guys are probably even fitter than 5 watts a kilo. And some of these guys are less than 5 watt a kilo FTP, but then they have a sprint like, 1800 watt sprint or whatever. Couple guys doing the pain dangle there, coming unglued, coming off the back, getting pulled.
Get me out of here.
Yeah. Time to call it a day. Looks like my man William may have been pulled at this point. So another thing about a race that's this fast though is like it's so hard to move up. When the group is going 28 the whole time, you have to pull out into the wind and go full sprint just to move a few places up still in the group. And even then, you got to find somewhere to slot back in. or else you're just stuck out there in the wind.
Echelon has 2.
Yeah, Murphy, sometimes the full suspension is actually not the worst thing for a cross race, especially that Terrapin course in Athens can be very bumpy. I actually finished, so speak of the devil, I believe that is Frank Travieso from Athens on the front right now. Yes, at the Terrapin race in 2019, I finished, I want to say 5th, right behind Travieso, who is on the front right here. Travieso is out of Athens, crit legend, but he's not really a cross racer, but he does the Georgia Cross stuff. And on the last lap of that race, I got to where I could see Travieso, and it was like, I went so deep just trying to get to, I was like, if I can beat Travieso today and get a top 5 in Georgia Cross, that's like, you know, life goals achieved. And I did not get to Travieso, but I think I finished like 3 or 4 seconds down. I was taking time back. But it's funny that I was already talking about that, and then he was like, "Oh, you're talking about me? I'll go take a pull." I want to say Travieso has won this race before. I think he won. He definitely won a USA Crits race in 2019. I think he won San Rafael. He's a guy who truly like privateer, no teammates in this race, I think, and still just like gets in there and does it. Ooh, we got a very good composition of guys in this breakaway too. We got Project Echelon's up there. It's getting so dark on the backside of the course. But yeah, there's Project Echelon, what I believe to be Clever Martinez, Best Buddies, Gateway Devo, First Internet Bank. Who else is represented there? Who are those last two? Who are you? Ooh, is that another Project Echelon? They might have 2 in here. I think so. I think CS Velo has that. The second to last rider who's hiding behind Frank. I can't see who it is. But that is a quite a composition. Looks like we got Automatic on the front drilling it. I'm sure they want to sprint. I'm sure Thomas wants to sprint. Yeah. Yeah, it's so fast that, like, so, not to give too much away from my Cat 2 race, but I did almost like 13, 14 watts per kilo for 15 seconds between the start-finish banner and turn 1. So, like, a sprint that would win a Zwift race to get to the breakaway on lap 5. Okay, here's who we got. That is Clever Martinez. Rockland Cycling Velo. Okay, Clever, if you guys watched, and only the Twitch people will have seen this, but when I watched along with the Tulsa race, Clever Martinez was the guy who did what everyone has been trying to do all season, infiltrated the Legion train in the finale, coming down the hill on Crybaby. Like, he was second or third wheel in the middle of Legion on Crybaby Hill, which is insane. Total panic behind. Nashville realizes they got nobody. Nashville driving it. It's good to see them up there and like being a factor in this race. I race with those guys a lot. They do a lot of our early season series, the Camp Sumatonga series in Alabama. They come down and do the weeknight crits in Huntsville when those happen sometimes. So that's Clever on the right there, with the big poof of hair behind. I want to see some wind tunnel data on the hair. I can't talk though because I had hair like basically down to here that I used to rock in a bun for a while there. Oh wow, this race is completely in tatters. We got this front breakaway. We got like a chase group breakaway. Looks like Artem Schmidt has made it up there on the right. He was super active I wish William, who's in this race, I wish he was in the chat because I know he's had to race with Artem a ton, so he can spit all the Artem facts about what that dude has won, all the times he has whooped up on William. I wonder how many people First Internet Bank. So, guy on the front there is from First Internet Bank. I wonder how many total riders they have left here. I've seen a couple of those kits. Oh, also, all these D1 USA Crits teams, their kits are on RGT. So, if you want to race in those kits, they're on there, save for Legion, because obviously they're sponsored by Zwift, so that's a no-no. But the Project Echelon kit is on RGT. Yeah, there's Clever Martinez in this move. He's up there with Gibbons, I think, in terms of like the guys that are as good but have gotten lost because they don't quite fit into the Best Buddies v Legion narrative. Clever also doesn't quite have the teammates. His team, Rockland City Velo, I think maybe they've like just gotten a Chinelli sponsorship, so their kit has changed. But they've been in these like digital camo kits. Frank Travieso on the front. Oh, some of you who watch my Zwift videos have probably seen, I've done a few Champs-Élysées races on Zwift with Frank. And he's not great at Zwift. He doesn't love Zwift. I think he's one of these guys that has such good racecraft in real life. Like, he always knows where to put power down, how to take the corners, all the subtleties. And some of that stuff doesn't translate to Zwift, or it doesn't translate like in the same way, if that makes sense. It's like positioning is still a thing on Zwift, but it's not the same positioning that would make it work in real life. Wow, field is back together, single file, absolutely ripping. Best Buddy, is that Hernandez? Nope, not Hernandez in the move. I think the thing here is like, even if they have somebody up there, it seems like Best Buddies is just gonna chase because Hernandez is their guy. Hernandez is the one in the long sleeve green. You can see him in the back of the camera shot there. Oh, one thing, see that bush on the top left there? That's a little secret for this course, is if you know that it opens up on the right past that bush, you can almost always move up there by sort of being on rider right as you come down the hill, gain a little speed, and then know that right after the bush you can push out right. There's going to be no one over there, and no one who can come over the top of you from the back because the bush is blocking them. So that's kind of my cheat code for the turn 2 to turn 3 area, is like get as close as you can to the bush, push out to the right, set up turn 3 super wide. You'll be able to see that really well in my GoPro footage. Although I will say, Zach Threet from my team probably did a better job of following my advice there than I did. So yeah, right here, you can see that bush directly over the riders' heads. I'm sure you'll see it. Our left, rider right, coming down here. These guys aren't worried about it right now. But that's the kind of stuff I'll worry about during the race to keep me. Yeah, there's the bush. The bush. So the bush happens, and then you can push out all the way out, set that turn up even wider than these guys did. You can take that thing at 35, you know? Yeah, Murphy, you're right. Like, this is the thing with the, like, actual pro guys that don't do well on Zwift. It's like, why would they care? If you can come to Sunny King and shred the field, it's like, why would you put the work in to figure out how to win a Zwift race? Why would you do what I've done and, like, oh man, automatic. TJ getting dropped, I think. Good work from him, though. But yeah, I mean, you guys have seen me do the work to figure out how Zwift works, how to win those races. And Frank is on the front of one of the most prestigious crits in the country, King of Crits, Alabama Cycling Classic, Sonny King. So like, why? There's just no need. Zwift is just a way for him to get some work done on days when it's raining outside. For whatever reason, he does seem to gravitate to the Champs-Elysees races. I don't know why. I've seen him in like 2 or 3 different Champs-Elysees races. Part of that is because we're in the same time zone and we're both doing that sort of like East Coast after work racing slot. But I need to extend my cooldown here on the workout I'm doing. For anyone who missed it, I'm just spinning on my stationary bike on my trainer, doing a easy trainer road workout as I watch this, because super hard group ride yesterday with William, who got a call up early in this race. He was on the front row. Wow, the 2 automatic guys are just tacked barely onto the back there. This is probably like half size, right? Like from what we started with. Best buddies, Hernandez on the attack. That is serious. He is committed to this. 15 laps to go. He is in for sure.
I wonder if it'd be a different race if there was a lot of premiums. But hey, these guys have just been on.
Yeah, Murphy's right. Champs-Elysees course. Maybe that was all the whole time during the pandemic. Frank Travieso was just thinking like, I gotta train for Sonny King. I gotta train for Athens Twilight. You know, the cigar-shaped course, as you say, the NASCAR track, but turned on its side. There's a lot of the southeastern criteriums are like basically this. The Birmingham Hammerfest, which will be sort of the final cap to my season. That's the D1 USA Crits race in downtown Birmingham, probably like 1 mile from where I'm riding the trainer right now. That race, whoa, that is a huge gap. Holy crap. He just put an insane gap on the field in 1 lap. So much so that I've completely forgotten what I'm talking about. Like, that looks shorter on this camera, but knowing the distance of how long that is, that's 2 city blocks. I mean, that's 15 seconds probably. And to open that up in 1 lap is crazy. First internet bank, guys. He's going to get there, I think. Whoa, that completely derailed my train of thought. Oh yeah, a lot of the southern crits are this like 4-corner cigar shape with a slight hill to them. Athens Twilight is interesting because it's like one side is basically flat and then the other side sort of has a hill in the middle. So it's like you come out of turn 2. Oh, I know Tanner Ward. Okay, I've raced with this dude. Yeah, he's a freak. That's how he bridged up here. Yeah, he's out of Little Rock, which is where my fiance's mom lives. And basically, if you're in the Southeast and you're a Cat 1 or 2, I've probably raced with you. It's a small but fast world around here. So yeah, I do wonder though if Travieso was like choosing the Zwift course that most closely replicated the majority of the Southeastern American crits. I think he's at a point in his career, he's kind of privateering it, and like, don't get me wrong, he's still very good, clearly. I mean, look at him in this race, but I don't think he's trying to like, you know, fly to the entire USA Crits series and stuff like that. Got some guys waving at the camera here. It's hard to tell because it's so dark right now, but that festival goes down that whole street behind them, and it's popping off. There's like good food. Get some pizza, get some barbecue, all that stuff. So in years past, actually, this has conflicted with the biggest, I say biggest in my heart, most, the mountain bike race I put the most weight on in Alabama, which is the, God, I'm about to say Sunny King, which is what this is. No, the Skyway Epic mountain bike race a couple of times was on the same day as Sunny King, and they're both out in eastern Alabama. So I want to say it was 2018, I really went all in on Skyway Epic. I had done it a couple of times, and I was like, I want to win Skyway this year. Men's Elite Open category Skyway, 66-mile mountain bike race, huge climbs in it. So I did. I went all in on it, all in for the mountain bike, but I won Skyway. Then when my race was done at Skyway, like did my podium, drove over to Anniston. It's like 30 minutes away from the Skyway course in Talladega, and just went to this street festival, got some barbecue, got some pizza, got some funnel cake, just like so much food, propped my legs up in the bleachers, watched this pro race. Maybe one of the greatest days of my bicycle racing career, like all around. And like I showed up to this race, a bunch of my friends were doing this one, so like, you know, show up with my Skyway gear on, everybody's like, oh, you want Skyway? Wow. Such a good day. And just like watching the pros do this race is insane. Yeah, Spoon. So Hernandez is like, I want to say, somebody correct me if I'm wrong here. I think Hernandez was the rider who, pedal strike. You guys see that? Wow. You can high side it out of corner 4. Ripping. Absolutely ripping. That was scary.
Heck of a save from Hernandez right there. I mean, you could have said
I actually crashed in this race in 2015. Not my fault, but someone did what Hernandez just did, but didn't save it in front of me. All right, we don't need to see the 2019 replay. Elevate KHS, the villains of the American Crit Peloton here. Oh, I remember that. I was watching that when it happened. He absolutely blew corner 3. He basically like sprinted downhill between, I was like standing right there when that happened. Between 2 and 3, it's downhill that whole way, almost 3%, 2-3%. And I forget who that was on Texas Roadhouse, but he just absolutely like sprinted down the hill. And when he went to turn for corner 3, he slid like, that was a one-wheel slide. Yeah. For real, Murphy. So maybe that's what, if you look like where he did that, the barricades bow out right there. Yeah, right there. And it was a guy in my race, like second lap, who, I didn't know what happened. I was like 20th wheel probably. So I came around the corner, and there was just a Lightspeed BMW guy just like tangled up in the barricades, and they were pushed out like that. They just left them pushed out. Artem Schmidt doing the work for kind of for no reason here. Your boy's got no teammates. No one else from Hot Tube backing him up. So I actually crashed out in that corner that they just went through because in my Cat 4 race, a dude, this was 2014. This was my first criterium of all time. Cat 4 races, somebody always goes too early. So it's like 2 to go. We're coming up the straight right here. A guy goes full sprint out of the saddle. He's all leaned forward, and he tries to go into the corner still like in this position. And he had no weight on his rear wheel, and he just slid out the rear wheel like Hernandez just did, except when it caught, he didn't save it and straighten up. He just flipped and high-sided. And basically when he had started sprinting, I was like, this is it. Like, someone always goes too early. I'll stick this guy's wheel. As soon as he fades, I'll go, and that's the win. And my teammate Nick did the same thing. I came up the right, Nick came up the left. Dude just flopped right in front of me. So I had to low side it to avoid him. Slid into the barricades. But my teammate Nick got under him on the inside, won the race, and there is some sick footage of Nick coming up this start-finish straight, slow-mo, 70 RPMs, just like chugging. Nick was also an ex-bodybuilder, so he's like, we used to call him Muscles. And Brad Soner is like, look at the power in those legs. I hope Nick has that saved somewhere, because that was a lot of great memories from the Alabama Cycling Classic for me. Always a good time. Travieso back on the front here, trying to bring it together. Yeah, crashing yourself out. Honestly, on this course, though, it's like so non-technical because it's so wide that almost the only, like, you don't see those crashes like or happening in Tulsa where people are kind of like overlapping wheels and bunching up and that kind of stuff. Like, if you crash on this course, it is truly because you were going so fast, your bike cannot continue holding traction on the ground at that speed. That's the reason you would crash on this course.
Brad, I'm gonna call this one gone.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Gateway Devo on the front, doing some work, trying to bring it back. I wonder what wattage. I'm going to go look up these two dudes, Hernandez and Tanner Ward. I think I even follow Tanner Ward on Strava. I'm going to go look up their Strava and see if I can see like what kind of power they were doing up this straight in the breakaway. My guess would be that whoever is pulling here is doing 400, 450. Oh yeah, 4 watts a kilo normalized. I did 4 watts a kilo normalized to not win the Cat 2 race. But I'm also smaller than these guys. So like I said earlier, like the raw wattage matters a lot. And I wish you could see on here, there's a Jumbotron, like it's sort of the reverse of the camera shot. So the camera shots, the camera work for this race, the production is great, I gotta say. But it does shortchange the viewer on the atmosphere because it's not catching the Jumbotron. And a lot of the crowds like are hanging out right under where these cameras are posted up. So especially the corner 4 and corner 1 cameras, like right here under this camera, that's where I was posted up. You can see a couple guys under there, but it's kind of not catching a lot of the hype. It is sick always, even in the sprint for the Cat 2 race, people are reaching over the barricades, banging on the banners when you come up to start finish. So you hear this like, blah, 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 like, yeah, you can see him doing it. That's funny. There was a guy doing it right at the end there. Yeah, there's some people beating on the boards. As the end of the race nears though, like everybody is doing that, and it's so hype. It's like playing in the Super Bowl or something. It's awesome. Makes this race so fun. So I'm on my phone here, seeing if I can find one of these guys. I want to say I already follow Tanner.
But I gotta think this field is more concerned with what's going on up the road.
Oh, for sure.
Here he is, Tanner Ward from Little Rock. I'm looking at this ride now, be able to give you guys some definitive numbers. Yep. He's posted it. Let's see what we got. So he averaged 284. Don't know what he weighs. This is also with, looks like he's got some cooldown on here too. This is the thing, like looking at people's Strava, you got to make sure you're really like getting the right segments. Ooh, we got a preem, $200 preem. Okay, it was super confusing. Those people had cowbells. So when it was actually the last lap, I wasn't sure. You guys might have seen on my Instagram, I posted a clip. Yeah, all those people are watching the Jumbotron. It's funny they're turned around watching the Jumbotron of what's happening right behind them. You might have seen on my Instagram, though, I posted a clip on my story of me rolling up to my teammate Hunter and going, "Is this it?" And he's like, "Yep." And then we just blast through to the front. I say blast through. We did what we could, but good finish for us. Ooh, okay. Power. Max power, 1400 watts from Tanner. Looks like he was, let's see what his threshold is. Okay, so Tanner's threshold is like 370, almost exactly what I said. This is Tanner on the front here. I'm looking at his Strava on my phone. I'm looking at his data from this race. Here he goes. I'm going to look at the segments and see if I can see what he was doing for these last couple of laps here.
Gap up to 22 for these two riders.
Let's go to the segments. Look at, I bet his fastest lap was like 4 or 5 seconds off mine. Let's see, his fastest lap was a 1 minute and, yep. Looks like he's actually done some of this faster before. Okay, his fastest lap was a 1:23. Mine was like a 1:27. So fastest lap was 4 seconds faster over a minute and a half lap roughly for this race from my race. Let's get down to the laps. Oh my God. Okay, what do you guys think his average power for one of these laps in the breakaway was? Average power. I'm looking at average power for some of these laps when he was up here in the breakaway. I'm looking at a 301, 321, 256. He must have been sitting on there. 326. Yeah, that's Spoon, you were right on the money there. He's doing at least 4 watts a kilo because he might be like 70, 75 kilos, but Ward is not that big. Ty Magner is a big dude. Travieso's bigger than me. Hernandez is kind of medium. Oh yeah, I think I never finished saying that Hernandez was the guy who the picture of him was posted on the Criterium Nation Instagram when he joined Best Buddies with the caption, "This changes everything." And Justin Williams commented and said, "It changes nothing. We're still going to win everything." And that was the genesis of Crit Beef. So it wasn't really Hernandez doing anything, but Hernandez in the breakaway here was kind of the genesis of Crit Beef. See, everybody's kind of gathering up near the start finish. I believe I see Zach Threet from my team over there. Got some great Zach Threet footage coming for my breakdown. Project Echelon, maybe too little too late, boys. Project Echelon probably should have hit the front and started controlling this, not controlling, but bringing this back a lot sooner. They definitely are the team who, like, that rests on their shoulders. I think it was probably hard for them to switch gears here from being the team who, like, they're sort of watching Legion and Legion is controlling it, and then Project Echelon, like at Armed Forces Cycling Classic, Project Echelon was the team attacking, sending people up the road, like sowing chaos. But in this race, really, like, Best Buddies has been throwing people up the road all the time. And Echelon either has to get some guys in those moves or be the team that's sort of doing the Legion thing and, like, setting the pace, pulling it back. And it looks like they left it too little too late here. So we got Hernandez and Ward duking it out. See some people banging the boards there, hanging their beers over the boards. Trying to see if there's anyone else I know in the crowd. So I was here for the beginning of this in a very strange, one lap, Tom, is, my race we were doing like 1:35 was kind of an average lap time. In these, woo, I don't know if you guys could tell how hot he took that corner. These guys are probably turning 1:30 laps pretty regularly. Minute 30, minute 35, somewhere around there. Looks like Tanner doesn't want to sprint. He wanted to try and get away there. Hernandez sitting on, there's the infamous bush. They've got enough daylight, though, that they can really play some games here. It would take a lot for them to get pulled back. But this is where, like, Echelon really needs to be on the gas behind. If they're not just, like, rotating turns at the front. That is, yeah, let's see this replay. Watch this corner, though. Look at how, oh, man, they didn't show the apex, but he really dug in there to the absolute limits of the tires. Like I said, this course is super fast, and so if you're going to crash on this course, it's not because the course is technical, it's because you're going so fast, carrying so much speed that you just, like, exceed the limit of a bike time. This course is also pretty, from my perspective, like, pretty well manicured in terms of, like, there's not a bunch of, like, dust or crap or gravel on the road like you get occasionally. It's not, like, perfectly just totally smooth, but there's no, like, real bad potholes. They finally figured out to put the barricades on the other side of the grate in turn 4. That grate can definitely screw you up. Wow. These guys are resigned to the field sprint. You can tell from that, the shape of the group there, it's not that strung out. They're letting Best Buddies set a false tempo on the front. So that Best Buddies rider is not chasing. He wants Hernandez to win. So basically what he's doing is getting up there in the top 5. And if people pull off and let him take the front, he'll just get on the front and do 200, 250 watts because he knows these guys are doing more than that. So he's setting a pace that's like, you know, if nobody else wants to do it, I'm going to set a pace that is allowing this breakaway to keep going. You can, okay, this shot, you can kind of tell where that hill is, where it really kicks up out of corner 4, flattens out a little right here, and then it kicks up again. Here they are banging the boards. Oh, the group's coming back a little bit. They can still see them. So that's probably 20, 25 second gap. Maybe 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Flicked the elbow. You're not going to get a change on the final lap. Oh, here we go. Tanner Ward. He loves that attack. That is not where I would attack at all. Because you were going into a headwind there, and then now you're going downhill. So basically, if Hernandez tacks on this downhill, he's getting a very free ride. See, Tanner's pedaling. Hernandez isn't even pedaling. Cat and mouse. Let's see the sprint. So I've seen bits of this race. I left early because my band was playing a show this night, which made it an amazing day, but I do wish I could have stayed for this race. Show was great. Super fun to really play some music post-pandemic. Yeah, I'm surprised they're not using this gutter, like where the pavement gets lighter and you can get out. You can fully ride on the sidewalk right there. So you can set up this corner like super wide. I'm going to be interested to see if any of these guys do it in the sprint. Because once I figured that out, corner 4, like other guys were doing 500 watts right here. And I was like coasting into them because I was carrying so much more speed. Ooh, they saved it for the kick. Shoulder to shoulder. Oh my God. Look at those elbows. Ward. Tanner Ward's got it. Field sprint. Show the field sprint. Show the field sprint. Show the field sprint. Oh my God, they didn't show the field sprint? Well, we'll see if we get a replay here. But, wow. Great race. Great sprint. So, this is a PRT race. First Internet Bank got one. There's Gibbons. There's Magner. All the guys I was talking about all race. They were all up there. Yeah, they just said it. Thomas Gibbons got the field sprint. I wonder if they're going to show the replay of the field sprint. Show the field sprint. So one of the biggest problems in cycling broadcasting, I feel like, is like when one race is sewn up. This happens in cross all the time. They just leave the camera on Wout or on Matthew when they're off the front. And I want to see the guys behind I want to see Toon Airts. I want to see Tim Relier. Speaking of, yo, wow, today. Oh my God. Second in the sprint stage. I feel like no one's talking about how crazy this is. Wout was in it in the sprint stage yesterday on the podium. Won the double Von 2 stage today in the Tour, which furthers my theory that cyclocross racers are the best bike racers. So, yeah, I just wanted to put a little shine on this race, show that Alabama Cycling Classic is always a good time. I always enjoy it. I feel like not enough people have watched this, and maybe First Internet Bank has a little bit of juice going into Boise this weekend. Boise USA Crits Race is this weekend. And also throw out here that I'm going to have a video from my Cat 2 race right before this that will be much more like curated, manicured content with some takeaways and all that stuff. Yep. Totally, Murphy. They always miss the action behind. You got to show the field sprint. I think they're not going to replay it because they don't have it. Anyway, be on the lookout. I got so much content that's like in the hopper, half done. So I'm going to have a lot of real race coverage. I think I'm going to keep doing some of this and just cover the stuff from the USA Crits scene that I think is like not getting talked about enough or not getting talked about in the right way, or if I think I got a unique perspective on it or whatever. Yeah. Thanks everybody for hanging out. This was super fun. Yeah, Wout winning was crazy today. Going from podiuming a sprint stage to winning a stage that went up Von 2 twice. Just like back-to-back mind-blowing stuff. Anyway, yo, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Be on the lookout for my race breakdown from this race, as well as Dalton, as well as potentially the time trial this weekend. That'll be more of a vlog, but I want to A/B the time trial this year, last year, see if I've bought any speed. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, I had fun. Here's the deal. I was going to watch this race on the trainer today anyway, so I figured I might as well say this stuff out loud to you guys rather than just think it as I watch it. And it was much more fun to hang with you guys. So thanks for hanging.